Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdog's Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner of the episode, I have two more very bizarre stories. One, a snarling beast that was witnessed and frightened the experiencers, and another, multiple UFOs emerged from Stargate-like portal over Madison, Wisconsin, reported by military witnesses, is another article we're going to read, folks. And we're going to get into it now. So, let's do so and read the full account. Let's read the opening. In the early morning hours, a father and son stepped outside their home and witnessed an event that defies conventional explanation. What appeared above them was not a single identified craft, but an apparent portal in the sky from which multiple objects emerged. The flowing testimony is notable due to its duration, clarity, corroboration, and the witness's professional military background. Hi, Lon. My son and I were standing on the front steps of our Madison, Wisconsin home a couple of years ago. Since we don't smoke in the house, we were outside. It was around 1 o'clock in the morning with a thin cloud cover. Suddenly, the ground lit up like it was daylight. So we looked up. I don't know if you've seen the movie Stargate, but this is going to sound unbelievable. There was a circular disc in the sky that looked just like the Stargate, complete with a watery image surrounded by crystal white lights. We saw 3 crafts come through that opening. I can imagine how mind-blowing this must have been, folks, especially because they did compare the portal to the portal from Stargate. Let's continue. One was tubular, like a bloated cigar. The second was a triangle. And the third, which I know sounds hard to believe, resembled the Starship Enterprise, but was more teardrop-shaped, with the larger part at the front and thrusters on the left and right rear. My son and I were completely speechless, but it honestly looked just like that part in the Stargate movie where they enter that mercury-like substance. That's interesting, folks. Not only did this resemble, well, the portal from Stargate, but the actual spaceships resembled those from Star Trek. Maybe this particular account has more to do with maybe tulpas and thought forms rather than basically actual UFOs, folks, because maybe this was somehow influenced by these two witnesses, well, what they've seen on TV and movies, folks. Either way, it's an idea why these people saw, well, something that looked like the Enterprise as well as the Stargate from, well, that series as well. Either way, let's continue. The next day, the town reported that the sonic boom everyone heard was caused by a meteorite, and that they even found some small fragments that landed in Minnesota, but it was all a farce. I spoke with a woman the following day, and I asked her if she had seen anything strange in the sky that night before. She told me she was in southern Minnesota looking north, and what she saw looked like sparks and lightning bolts. She mentioned it was one of the most amazing things she had ever witnessed. I have a military background and worked with radar-guided missiles and various aircraft, and I can confidently say that what we saw was nothing from this planet. Back in 1987, I witnessed a triangular craft that appeared to be dragging a piece of window pane through the air over a major highway in a small town. 2 fighter jets were chasing it at treetop level, and they were breaking every aeronautical rule I could think of by flying that low and that fast over a major highway. What my son and I saw in the sky that night was the most incredible thing, and after witnessing it, I believe that almost anything is possible. I rule nothing out after that D. And I have to say I agree with D, folks. And as I said, do you think some sort of thought form or something? Or did the witnesses actually see real UFOs from another world, folks? We just simply don't know. Either way, let's read the next very interesting account. Unknown snarling predator standoff in New Mexico Canyon near Cebolla National Forest, and read what the witnesses encountered and how, well, they had to get out of this dangerous standoff with this weird animal. They had no idea really what it was. Let's get into the account now. In the late morning hours of a routine hike inside Cebolla National Forest, 2 experienced outdoorsmen found themselves face to face with a creature that did not match any known predator of the region. What followed was a silent standoff with a snarling, heavy-bodied animal that vanished into the bush and brush just as suddenly as it appeared. Similar unexplained attacks and sightings in nearby mountain ranges raise unsettling questions about what truly roams these canyons. Let's get into the actual account and read the witnesses' actual words on what they witnessed. The witness and a friend were hiking in a canyon area of Cebolla National Forest around 11:30 a.m. Both were very familiar with the terrain and wildlife and had spent years hiking the region. Bear advisories had been posted recently and mountain lions were known to inhabit the area. The witness had previously encountered a black bear in this same forest. While resting on the trail, the witness noticed movement in thick brush to his right. The motion was too low and compact to be a bear, which immediately raised concern that it could be a mountain lion. Moments later, a dark gray fur-covered creature burst from the vegetation, snarling and growling aggressively. The animal was stocky, powerfully built, and much larger than any wolverine the witness had ever seen. He estimated it weighed more than 100 pounds and stood higher than a typical wolverine, with a broader chest and thick limbs. Its mouth was open wide, displaying long, jagged teeth unlike those of a cougar. The creature held its ground, facing the men in a threatening posture. Fearing a charge, the witness picked up a rock while the two men stood frozen. For approximately 30 seconds, the creature maintained eye contact, snarling as if weighing its next move. Then, without warning, it pivoted and sprinted back into the brush, moving rapidly and disappearing from view. The men immediately retreated to their truck and left the area. Later, the witness spoke with a neighbor who worked at the Albuquerque Biopark and regularly hiked across the southwest. The neighbor suggested the animal might have been a small bear, but the witness was certain it was not. Its posture, movement, and facial structure did not resemble a bear, mountain lion, or any known local species. Searching for answers, the witness discovered reports of unusually large wolverine sightings in parts of New Mexico, although most were recorded further north. More disturbing was a separate documented incident from the Sandia Mountains in 2008, not far from this region. In that case, a 5-year-old boy was attacked while hiking with his family near Balsam Glade on Sandria Peak. The animal dragged the child down a hillside before being chased off by the father. Authorities initially claimed it was a mountain lion, but tracking dogs found no cougar scent in the area. Game and fish officials later admitted they did not know what species was responsible. The father described the attacker as short and stocky with dark brown fur, which does not match the slender profile of a mountain lion. The boy suffered puncture wounds to his head, neck, and back and was hospitalized in critical condition. Both incidents occurred in forested mountain terrain in central New Mexico, involved a compact, heavily built, dark-furred predator that did not leave identifiable tracks or scent. I imagine it wouldn't, folks, if it was some sort of, unknown species that tracking dogs had never encountered before, so I'm not surprised that they couldn't or did not find out the identity of this animal that made that attack. But what about what the, men saw, folks? Was this the same predator, perhaps? We don't know, but certainly is worth noting that whatever this entity was terrifying and certainly far larger than any known, wolverine that we've seen. It could be maybe a wolverine suffering from some form of gigantism, perhaps? Maybe that would explain what these animals are. Both the one that attacked that young boy and what these men saw. Or maybe it was some sort of other animal. Maybe this animal also had mange, or maybe parts of its fur were just, misshapen, or maybe it was covered in something that made it look off, so these men couldn't identify it. But they were definitely sure it wasn't a, small bear. So, what was it, folks? We don't know. But what about the first story, folks, in which that father and son saw these multiple UFOs come out of, what they described as the Stargate from the movie and TV series Stargate. Either way, we don't know why, folks. It sounds like to me that they saw perhaps some sort of manifestation of a tulpa or Aragorn, folks. Perhaps maybe the belief in these fictional series somehow manifested a real Stargate, and once more, it manifested out of that Stargate a ship among the 3 that the witnesses saw that resembled the Enterprise. Maybe that explains what happened. We simply don't know. A lot of people would say that that's impossible, and I can understand why. There's no actual proof that such manifestations can actually happen, folks. Or maybe it proves that that what we take to be fiction is actually real, folks. Perhaps the government, throughout the decades, has inserted things into it about real things that exist. Like maybe starships actually resemble those from, Star Trek or something. We don't know. Either way, we're at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions of the chat to do so. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Hit the part of the bell that'll give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.